G'day, what a marvellous event the Australian Grand Prix was. Now you probably saw plenty on TV about it, but in this video I'm going to share with you what I saw behind the lens. For a start, this was a record-breaking crowd, 452,000 people over the 4 days. One of the big talking points prior to the race was that fans weren't going to be allowed on the track for the invasion after the race. A lot of comments on my post said, yeah, try stopping us. It'll never happen. We'll be out there. Well, no one was out there. This was the sight when I turned around as I was shooting the podium ceremony. So how did the authorities stop people getting on the track? Well, the big openings were all fenced with 1.8 metre high fences. The photo windows were boarded up just after the race finished, and even on pit lane these windows here were boarded up with these purple boards. Last year I remember seeing people trying to kick them down, but there was certainly none of that this year. Now it was disappointing, and it may not be forever, but over the weekend that's what we had to deal with. Just before the end of the race I was waiting down in pit lane. There was about 200 people in a queue. And of course we saw George's crash on TV, and then I'm guessing no more than 30 seconds later that safety car roared out on track, and that's the first time I've seen how quickly those cars get moving. But of course the big story was Carlos doing the impossible, coming back 16 days after a major operation to win his third F1 race of his career. And of course he has no drive for next year sorted. Of course that win has done him no harm in his quest to get a drive next year. If you watched my previous video, you would have seen the celebration for Carlos out the front, and Charles too, out the front of the Ferrari hospitality suite. But there were also 3 other cellies going on. Lando Norris was out in pit lane celebrating third. Up at VCARB they celebrated Yuki's first points, and at Haas they had a double points finish, which was a fantastic result for a team that I thought might end up bottom of the ladder this year. And about an hour prior to that, Nico Hülkenberg was absolutely on fire after his performance. My biggest post of the weekend was this one. After the race, Lando going over to Carlos to give him a hug. 44,000 odd likes at the time of me going to print, and for my audience, that's right up there. The average, probably about 10,000, but that's the sort of stuff I look for in my photography, the emotion of this sport. Valtteri Bottas, of course, an honorary Australian. He was in a rather interesting t-shirt celebrating snags, sausages, and in particular, the sausage sizzle, which is a major thing at a hardware store in Australia here called Bunnings. You can get a sausage and a piece of bread there for a couple of bucks just about anywhere in Australia on the weekend. Now, where possible, I'm finding a fan at each place I go to tell me how much they're spending on their F1 excursion.
So I spent $3,000 in total, $1,000 on accommodation, $1,000 on tickets, $1,000 on spending and transport.
Did you see Ted's face here? Now, if you don't watch Sky Sport, you probably wouldn't have seen Ted Kravitz, but have a look here, on the side of his neck here. A whole lot of chocolate. Well, I only realised later in the evening that it had come from him actually celebrating a birthday and for some reason putting one side of his face on that cake. Girlfriends and family members at the track, well, we had a few this weekend. We had Max's girlfriend Kelly Piquet. We had Rebecca Donaldson supporting Carlos Sainz. Oscar Piastri's girlfriend Lily Znaimer was there. Kika joined Pierre in Melbourne, and before the race they spent a couple of days in Sydney, even enjoying Bondi Beach. Carlos Sainz Sr. was supporting his son. Joe and Grace Ricciardo were there supporting their son Daniel. And Oscar Piastri's mum and dad were at the track, along with his grandparents who made those beautiful rum balls and lamingtons for the McLaren team. Now, a number of you have made comments about the increased number of videos you're seeing this year. Well, last year I probably averaged 3 a week. This year, I think we can get it to 6, especially on those weeks when there's an event at the track, because I've now been given video accreditation rights at the track. But there are 2 major stipulations, and you might have already noticed is 1, I can only do 10 minutes of content per track day, and 2, I have to be the subject of the video. Now, my goal is to have videos up as quickly as possible after the final session. Within 3 hours would be great. Now, sometimes I'm not going to get that. Like yesterday was a bit lax. It was 5.5 hours. But where possible, you'll be getting a first look at these videos, and quickly. Now, here's your chance to win $1,900 worth of amazing goodies. This is the same gear that I gave to every one of the F1 drivers this weekend. Entries open to everyone, and I'll get to how you enter in just a second. The thing is, I see people every race wanting something from drivers. The media wants an interview, I want a photograph, fans want a selfie or an autograph, and in general, drivers are pretty giving. So last week, I decided to give them something to welcome them to Australia, my country. Everyone got one of these gift bags. They were all surprised, everyone loved it, a couple even gave me a hug. Pierre Gasly tested out this draft top, which turns a can into a drinking vessel. It's a nifty bit of kit. Yuki loved this Fujifilm Instax camera, and they were a real hit with the fans out on the Melbourne Walk when I took their photos at the end of each of the nights. There was a Leatherman multi-purpose tool for each driver, engraved with their name on it. A stunning pair of wireless headphones from Bose, and these were a real hit. A blackrapid camera strap, the same straps that I've been using for, I'm guessing, 8 years now. All of those drivers got a quad lock cover, not the Oscar Piastri one, plus a whole lot of kit that enables them to mount that to bikes, car windows, etc. At least one driver used their brand new Yuyu eye strap on the grid on Sunday, but I didn't get close enough to smell if any of them had used the diptyque fragrance that came with the Qatar Airways amenities kit. Now, how do you get your hands on all of these gifts packed in this magnificent Bellroy market tote bag? Simple. 1. Be subscribed to YouTube. 2. Follow me on Instagram and find this post. And then, on Insta, tag a friend and tell us your favourite driver. You'll find all the details there, and I'll pick a winner on April 2nd this year. Fashion-wise, Lewis Hamilton, and he did the Melbourne Walk on at least 3 of the days. Now, in the past, I don't think he's done that many days on the walk, but this year he really lapped it up. Zhou Guanyu looked good. Daniel Ricciardo wore casual gear on 2 days. We had Miles Chamberlain-Watson, the fencer, decked out in pretty colourful gear, and Chloe Stroll stood out in the crowd. And if you happen to come to a race in the future and you're well dressed in the paddock, I will be looking for you as well. Have a look at this photo here. See this gentleman right up the very back here? His name's Taco. He's from the Netherlands, and he's with me right now, and he has a very interesting story to tell. Now, why were you in that team photo?
It was my 48-year-old dream to be present at every single race around the world in one season. Last year I finally did that. A lot of people thought it was a great idea and wanted to make the best out of it. And Red Bull was really extraordinary in that, because they, at the last race, surprised me with the Red Bull outfit, and then said you will be on the pit stop practice. So I did that, and then so to top it off, on the end I was allowed to be on the team photo. They called me and said you have to go into the middle. So I did. Over the whole year, so many doors were opened by the team and F1, which I never knew they would be open. I was so privileged to be able to experience all that I wanted to thank the team in an appropriate way, but that was almost like impossible. So I got a t-shirt made with a hand-drawn painting of all the members of the team. I was supposed to give that to somebody of the Red Bull team on the roof of the hospitality of Red Bull. So I'm going up there thinking that I was going to do that. And when I arrive up on the roof, I look, what? There was Max, Checo, Christian, and Jonathan Wheatley. Finally, here he is. We can thank him. I said, what? I thought I was going to thank you. No. So it was super surprised.
That is a stunning story, and hats off to you, mate. Well done.
Wow, thank you so much.
Just before I go, let me tell you that these Jackie Stewart prints are now signed and numbered, and they are available at the kimellman.com website. Spent about 15 minutes with Jackie in the Rolex suite having them signed on the weekend, and we will raise a fair whack of money for the Race Against Dementia charity. Let it be said that I'm indebted to you for getting this far into the video, and before you leave, could you please subscribe if you have not yet done so, and you'll find a whole lot of my other content anywhere here. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate. One of the world's best journalists here from the Netherlands, Jackie Martins. And any scoops, Jackie, at the moment?
No, not yet. Not yet. It's quite. There's some peace in the team right now, isn't it, Red Bull?
Yes.
So it's all peace, all peace.